On to the big story that we are tracking. 1993 Mumbai blast convict Yakub Memon's body has been handed over to the family members. Yakub's body will now be flown to Mumbai by an air ambulance. Yakub's brothers Usman and Suleiman received his body from the jail authorities. He was hanged to death earlier this morning at the Nagpur Central Jail. The execution reportedly took place at 6:30 a.m. just an hour and a half after the special three-judge Supreme Court bench rejected his last-minute mercy plea. Now, earlier, keeping sensitivities in mind, the family had been informed of a long list of conditions if it wanted possession of the mortal remains. These included that the funeral be a low-key affair. Police has also made it clear it does not want a public procession and has said that pictures of the body should not be released. All right, joining us now in the studio, India Today studio, is senior journalist Madhu Trehan. Madhu, thanks.
Editor-in-Chief of News Laundry.
Yes, Editor-in-Chief of News Laundry. Madhu, you know, a lot of people would ask you or want to ask you questions, including myself, on that interview that you interviewed Yakub Memon in August 1994, and he seemed to have told you a lot. There was a lot of questions, tough questions that you posed to him as to who is going to believe that he actually came back for his country. We would like to move on from that and perhaps ask you more about this execution, about the death penalty. Number one, what do you have to say about the law taking its course in this particular, in a very dramatic way rather, a court hearing taking place at 2:30 a.m.
I think any thinking person would not support the death penalty. I think the fact that it's come up for discussion is a good thing. But to say that Yakub Memon at this point should not have gotten the death penalty, I think it needs to be argued. Because you have to consider the fact that Yakub Memon's brother, Tiger Memon, is a known criminal. You're dealing with basically mafia, with gangsters. Yep. So if you have his brother sitting in jail for the next 10, 15, 20 years, I don't think a person like Tiger Memon would just do nothing. So that would mean that we're putting at risk the possibility of hostages being taken on flights or bomb blasts or whatever violence around areas. Again, hostages, the issue of hostages. So if he was sitting in jail, I think it would put India in a very dangerous and vulnerable position. Of course, it's many people that I admire who have spoken and written against the death penalty. I think that is an issue that one has to work on. But since the law of the land is there, I think at this point we had to just follow what the Supreme Court said. Many people, politicians, are politicizing the issue, and I want to ask that people like Shashi Tharoor, who have tweeted against the death penalty, and Digvijay Singh, I would ask, would they have tweeted the same thing if the Congress party was in power?
Absolutely, because, and they did not.
Yeah, because exactly, it's not the government that has ordered the execution. Right. It is the Supreme Court that has ordered it, and would their prosecutors from the Congress party, had they been in power, would they have argued against the death penalty? We don't know that. I doubt it. So I think for them to be high-minded at a point and to politicize it, it's not a political issue. It was decided by the Supreme Court, not by a political party.
Absolutely. That's an important point that you're making. As far as Shashi Tharoor and Digvijay Singh is concerned, two of the last executions that have taken place over the last decade is one of Ajmal Kasab and the other of Afzal Guru. And in both these cases, we did not hear from any of these leaders, this criticism against death penalty. The point is, this is the law of the land at this moment. And any change that needs to be made to that law of the land is in the domain of the parliamentarians. I mean, they can go ahead and do it. So, do you think that this selective criticism is something that should at best be avoided at a time like this? And if actually something needs to be changed,
no, I don't think it should be avoided. I think they should carry on doing it because it exposes them. and that's good for us journalists. We should know where people are coming from. So I would never say, why are you doing this? It's fine with us because it exposes that they didn't do it during the Congress time when executions took place. They're doing it now. Fine, it exposes them. But the point is that I don't think Indian people are stupid. They know this is not a political issue. This is a security issue. It's related to terrorism. So it's decided by the Supreme Court. Nobody likes to see, I mean, I would imagine no one likes to see any man hang or die. It's not a happy situation. I don't think it's anything to celebrate. It's neither a very sad situation. It's sad for the family, but the fact of the matter is that it is the law of the land. He was found guilty in the conspiracy. The Supreme Court laid out all the evidence that they had gotten in their order. So it's not been done casually. 22 years is a long time for a guy to have tried for his acquittal, and that of course did not happen.
Okay, let's also get an update at this moment. We are getting some news reports that it might not be an air ambulance in which Yakub Memon's body will be flown to Mumbai. It could actually be a commercial flight. The details are there on the server, but
I don't know how many people, regular passengers, would want to go on a regular flight like that. That would be a tough one.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the things is that when the Supreme Court issued this order, I think they and the government were fully aware of the consequences that would happen, which they are now preparing for today. And they know that it is a dangerous decision. It is something that we might have to pay for in some sense. I hope not, but I think everybody was aware of the risk of ordering the hanging.
Madhu, you know, one question we've been asking all our guests since morning, that you know, this regret cannot really be with the Memon family or any of the people who were, you know, advocating their cause, that they did not explore all possible legal options. I mean, it's unprecedented to have, you know, hearing in the Supreme Court at 2:30 a.m. with the final verdict coming out at 5. So, would you be in agreement if one were to say that all possible legal options were explored and, you know, were allowed to be explored?
I think so. I mean, nobody was twiddling their thumbs for all these years. I think the reason why it took long, people say, why was it dragged out so long? Obviously, it was dragged out so long. It wasn't dragged out. It was that he was fighting for being set free. So procedure, as well as numerous applications to various courts going back and forth, and then his mercy petitions. And the point is, how many mercy petitions can you entertain until the date? So, you know, the man was involved. In fact, the article that is being quoted, that Raman wrote in Rediff, that was published in Rediff recently, people are forgetting that one sentence that Raman wrote, which is, there is no iota of doubt that he is guilty of conspiring in this, in the bomb blast. However, they're focusing on the other part, which is, he did not recommend the death penalty because he had cooperated. And that sentence is his opinion. It's his opinion that he doesn't think he should get the death penalty. It is not something that there is no place where any of the officers have said that we made any assurances or made any deal. It hasn't happened. In fact, Shantanu Sen on another channel denied that any deal was made or any assurance was given.
Right. Let's get in a word from Mr. Waris Pathan. He is an MLA of the MIM. He is with us, joining us from Mumbai. Mr. Pathan, do you think that political rhetoric around cases of convicts of terror should now stop? I know it's a tall ask. A lot of people say that this is a tall ask, and politically that is not going to happen. I'm asking you this question particularly because we have seen that there has been some pocket of support that the Memons have actually got from your party.
First of all, let me tell you now, the judgment has come. It is a setback and disappointment as well to us. We were asking for justice. We did not say that the Supreme Court has said Yakub is not guilty. We say he is guilty, okay. The Supreme Court has said Yakub should be given punishment, okay, give him punishment. But the main crux of the issue is why not punish the killers of those involved in the post-Babri Masjid demolition riots in Mumbai in 92 and 93. 900 people have been killed during those riots, and till now the perpetrators of the crime, the criminals, are still at large. They are not being punished. Why capital punishment is not given to them? Why capital punishment is not given to Rajiv Gandhi's killer? Why capital punishment is not given to Ben Singh's killer Rajona? Because Rajiv Gandhi killers have got the political backing of Tamilians. The Ben Singh's killers have got the political backing of Akali, where the BJP is with them. So that is why we said this is a political issue, and Yakub Memon, because he does not have any political background, capital punishment is given him in such a haste. You imagine what had happened earlier. The curative petition was pending, and pending that curative petition, the death warrant was issued. Yesterday also what we saw, the day before yesterday, 2 judges' benches were constituted, and one of the honorable judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Joseph Kurian, was of the opinion that the curative petition was not properly heard, and that is why a 3-judge bench got constituted. And yesterday whatever order they passed, okay, the Supreme Court passed the order that the death warrant stays, he should be given a capital punishment. But somewhere or the other we feel that a proper hearing should have been given to Yakub after B. Raman, the chief of Raw Intelligence Agency, who was in charge at that time for the surrender of Yakub. He said that intimidating circumstances have come to light now that Yakub had surrendered. And a man, see, India was looking for evidence from Pakistan since 40 years. We could not gather evidence. This man surrenders to the agency, he helps in the investigation, he gives evidence for the involvement of Pakistan in the conspiracy, and you hang that man. Is this a justification?
We very patiently are listening to what you are saying, because it's a viewpoint. But when you say that adequate time should have been given, I think 22 years is a long enough time, and also all possible legal options were explored by Yakub Memon, by the counsels of Yakub Memon, and all the points that you are mentioning perhaps indicate that if some wrong has happened, then you can't justify this particular case. Madhu Trehan wanted to come in on certain points that you have made. Yes, Madhu.
He's quoting Raman's article. Yeah. First of all, nowhere in the article does Raman say that Yakub Memon surrendered. He had gone there to meet his lawyer, who had gone from Mumbai to ask his advice on whether he should return to Mumbai, because his family, his mother and his wife, were feeling suffocated since they were in a very fancy mansion, they say, but under house arrest, and they wanted to come back. They had money in Mumbai, they had properties in Mumbai, and they all wanted to return. So he had come to discuss it with this lawyer, whether it was safe to or not. The lawyer advised him, no, it was not safe, and he was on his way towards the flight to Karachi. He was returning when his bag was searched, and they found 5 passports in there, and he was suspicious, and then he was taken into custody, not arrested. He was just detained by the Nepalese authorities, who then got in touch with IBN Raw, who then flew to Kathmandu, took him in their plane to the border of Bihar and Nepal and Bihar, and then brought him to Delhi. And because those officers do not have the authority to arrest, he was arrested in Delhi. So there was no surrender.
No surrender.
He was returning. So that is point 1. And the second thing that he said about Memon was that there was some assurance given. No officer has stated that any assurance was given. Right. It's a presumption. And in fact, in the letter, in the article, Raman has written very clearly that there is no iota of doubt that he is guilty of conspiracy of the bomb blast. Although then he goes on to say that he recommends that they do not ask for the death penalty, because he felt that because he cooperated with them, that he should not be given the death penalty. That is, the not being given the death penalty is his opinion.
Absolutely.
So it's not something that he had guaranteed to anybody. He's not in a position to guarantee.
Absolutely.
That was his opinion as he wrote it. But he did write that he had no iota of doubt that he was guilty.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also this whole theory of the fact that he actually surrendered before authorities.